So, you want to list your house, but you're not really sure who you should hire, right? That's totally fair. Most people either hire the first realtor that their friend recommends or they click on the first person that they see online. And the truth is, that decision can literally cost you tens of thousands of dollars depending on who you choose. So, today I'm going to walk you through the 12 things that I personally think are completely non negotiable when choosing a realtor to sell your home. No opinions and no marketing fluff. Just the exact things that I would look for if I was hiring someone to sell my own personal home. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly the questions to ask, what answers to expect, and how to tell the difference between an agent who simply lists homes and an agent who actually knows how to sell them. The very first thing that you should find out is whether the agent you're considering working with is a part-time realtor or a full-time realtor. Real estate oftentimes moves really fast, and sometimes offers tend to come in at 9 p.m. Sometimes negotiations happen on a Saturday afternoon, and sometimes inspection issues pop up that need immediate attention. When someone works in real estate full time, this is what their entire day revolves around. They're constantly studying the market, negotiating contracts, watching buyer behavior, and solving problems as they come up. Selling a home is much more than just putting a sign in the yard. It's pricing strategy, negotiation strategy, timing strategy, and managing a lot of moving parts all at once. And that's why knowing whether someone is doing or not doing this every single day really matters. Does the agent that you're considering working with really know the local area? And by this, I don't mean do they know where the local grocery store is. I mean, do they really understand the micro market? Because real estate is not just one market. Every neighborhood has its own pricing trends, buyer demand, and expectations. A house on one side of town might sell in 3 days, but a similar house 10 minutes away might sit for 3 weeks, depending on the pricing strategy and buyer demand. Agents who truly know the local market are going to understand how buyers think, what they're comparing your home to, and how to position your listing so that it stands out. And that leads directly into my next point, and it matters a lot more than people realize, how you actually feel when you talk to the agent. Selling a house involves a lot of conversations, pricing conversations, repair conversations, offer negotiations, inspection issues, sometimes really stressful decisions. The right agent should make you feel more than comfortable whenever you're asking questions. You should feel like they're explaining things clearly and not talking over you or making you feel like you should already know something. A good agent is going to answer your questions directly, and if they don't know something, they're going to tell you that they're going to go out and find the answer so that they can get back to you with the information. That kind of communication makes the entire selling process a lot smoother because whenever you know what's going on and know why decisions are being made, it's going to make you feel a lot more comfortable. We're going to look at their online reviews, but not just the star rating. What you really want to understand is whose reviews they are. Sometimes you'll see agents advertise that they have hundreds of 5-star reviews, which yes, that does sound incredible. But once you start to dig a little deeper, you might find that these reviews are actually for a large team and not necessarily for the specific person that you yourself are dealing with. So whenever you get into looking into and researching the reviews, you need to find out that whether the experiences that people are describing are tied directly to the agent that you're hiring. That's going to give you a much clearer picture of how working with them is actually going to look like. And another thing that surprises a lot of sellers is how the agent does appear online. So if you've ever searched for a realtor on a website and seen someone labeled as a featured agent, it's really important to understand what that actually means. In many cases, these placements are paid advertising. Now, that doesn't automatically make someone a bad agent. It just means that visibility online isn't always the same thing as experience or results. The things that are going to matter the most are how they price homes, how they market them, and how they're going to negotiate on your behalf once offers start coming in. Now, speaking of marketing, this is a huge one. If you're interviewing an agent, you need to ask them what their marketing plan actually looks like because putting a home into the MLS is only the starting point, not the strategy. A strong listing strategy usually includes professional photography, a clear launch plan, exposure on social media, and making sure that your property is going to be positioned in front of the right buyers at the right time. Now, when marketing is done well, much more buyers are going to see the property, which is going to hopefully create more interest and even stronger offers. Another thing that, believe it or not, has become increasingly important over the last few years is an agent's social media presence. Buyers today discover homes in a lot of different ways, and social media platforms have become a major channel for real estate exposure. Agents who actively share listings online can often generate attention quickly because their audience is already engaged with their content. Now, with more eyes on a listing, that usually means more interest, and with more interest, that's exactly what you want when your home hits the market. You also need to make sure to ask about the agent's personal sale numbers. How quickly do their listings typically sell, and how close do they sell them compared to the asking price? Those numbers are going to tell you a lot about how effective someone is able to price and negotiate property, because the goal isn't just to get your house listed. The goal is going to be about getting it sold for the strongest price possible. And another thing that I'm seeing sellers start to ask about is whether or not the agent is tracking analytics. In today's market, there's a lot of data available right now about how buyers are interacting with listings online. Things like how many people are viewing at the property, how long they're looking at it, how many showings are being scheduled, and where, according to where they're located, are they looking from. Agents who are able to really track those analytics and make strategic adjustments that keep the listing performing well while it's still on the market. And something that I'm always going to encourage sellers to do is search the agent online. Look them up the same way that a buyer would. See what shows up. Look at their website, their profiles, their social media, and even ask AI tools about what information is available to appear for them. A strong digital presence is going to build credibility because buyers and other agents are also going to be doing the same research. Another major thing that should happen before any paperwork is signed is a consultation. A good listing agent is not just going to say, here's the contract. They're going to walk you through the home. They're going to walk you through the pricing strategy. They're going to talk about potential improvements that might increase the value, which in return is going to give you the most out of your sale. They're going to help you create a launch plan about how your property will hit the market the most effectively. And sometimes, believe it or not, small changes or repairs can make a big difference in how buyers perceive your home. And finally, something that speaks a lot about an agent's professionalism is how they handle recommendations for other services. So during the transaction, you're probably going to need a list of things about inspectors, lenders, insurance agents, closing companies, so on and so forth. A great agent will usually provide multiple trusted opinions and encourage you to do your own research so that you can do what feels right for you. That approach is going to help keep everything transparent and is also going to give you confidence in every step of your transaction. Now, here's the big takeaway from everything. A realtor's job is not just about putting your home on the MLS and sending you paperwork to sign. Their job is going to be able to guide the strategy, manage the process, communicate clearly, and advocate for you from the moment that you decide to sell until the day you close. So if you dig into these 12 different subjects whenever you're trying to choose an agent, you're immediately going to be able to tell who approaches real estate as a profession versus someone who treats it like a side task. And if you happen to be here in the Madison County area or anywhere in the nearby communities and you want someone who really takes this level of strategy seriously, I'd be more than happy to have a conversation with you.